Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Family of 4 shot in Havana Heights, Clarendon, father succumbs. A 3-year-old boy is among 4 people who were shot in Havana Heights, Clarendon last night. The child's 9-year-old sibling and their parents were also shot. The child's father, 43-year-old Mark Ricketts, otherwise called Chopper, has succumbed to his injuries. The police say about 7:25 p.m., Ricketts was entering his home when he was pounced upon by a gunman who opened gunfire. All 4 were hit in the attack. The police were alerted and the injured persons were taken to hospital, where Ricketts was pronounced dead and the others admitted. Deputy Superintendent Cardosa, head of operations of Clarendon Police Division, has described the attack as heinous. A motive has not yet been established for the attack. Cardosa is appealing to anyone with information to contact the police. The community of Havana Heights is home to the September 12 quadruple murder that made nationwide headlines. 2 sisters, their nephew and another relative, were killed in the bloody rampage. As at December 11, some 101 people have been murdered in Clarendon. This is a 7.4% increase compared to 94 homicides for the corresponding period last year. Truck driver shot in Whitfield Town after police chase. A truck driver is hospitalized with a gunshot wound following a police chase in Kingston 13 area on Wednesday afternoon. Details surrounding the incident are still unclear at this time, but preliminary reports are that sometime after noon, the male truck driver was attempting to flee traffic police in Whitfield Town when he was unable to negotiate a curve and crashed the vehicle. A confrontation ensued between the suspect and the cops, and he was shot in the upper body. The injured man was taken to hospital, his condition unknown at this time. Police following strong leads after quadruple shooting on Walton Park Road. The police say they are following strong leads and are working with the residents to locate the perpetrators of a drive-by shooting on Walton Park Road, which resulted in 4 people being shot and injured. Reporters obtained a voice note from an alleged eyewitness of the incident on Tuesday. Commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police, Superintendent Damon Mandison, confirmed the incident.
Around about 1:30, residents of Fitzgerald of Walton Park Road was pretty much going about their normal business when a boxing motor vehicle, a grey Vector, pull up, open gunfire at bystanders. We had 4 individuals shot and injured. Talk about a 27-year-old, a 55-year-old, 59-year-old, and a 73-year-old. These are individuals who, of course, have nothing to do with anything that is happening in that space. Nothing that we wish to disclose just yet, but I can say that we're not relenting. I can tell you the communities are frustrated and fed up with these individuals who are hell-bent on creating mayhem and havoc. And we're working with them. We're working with them to ensure that we find these individuals and treat them accordingly.
Local government minister reiterates party ban for the holidays. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie says the ban on parties under the Disaster Risk Management Act, DRMA, remains in effect for the holidays. Minister McKenzie is seeking to remind the public that no change to the previous measures in relation to ban on parties was announced.
Madam Speaker, I am getting numerous calls and messages from many people across the island. What are the plans that we have for parties and nightclubs during the festive season? Madam Speaker, I wish to state that the ban on parties and nightclubs and other such gathering as round robin, gate parties are still in effect, Madam Speaker. So let me make the point that the municipal corporation and the police will not be issuing any permits for the staging of parties, whether it is round robin, tailgate. Nightclubs are not permitted to be open, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we are going to be working with the authorities to ensure that any breach under these regulations that ban these events, we will be out, Madam Speaker, to ensure that we get compliance. We are still battling this public health emergency, and we cannot afford to be reckless, Madam Speaker, in this effort. So I therefore appeal to everyone to be responsible and to remember that after Christmas comes the new year. We want the new year to continue on a path of improvement so that Jamaicans can continue the process of returning to a normal way of life. We want to get our children back in school come January, Madam Speaker.
Several incidents in recent weeks linked to $6 billion predatory larceny industry. Several murders and shooting incidents in the last 3 weeks have been linked to the multi-million-dollar illicit predatory larceny industry. In the last incident, 2 farmers were found dead in Westmoreland on Monday. This incident comes weeks after 2 alleged animal thieves were cut down in a reported gunfire with the police in St. Mary. The police believe gangs are using the proceeds for predatory larceny to fund their criminal activities.
Members of a gang attacking a farmer on Marchpen Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. The goat farmer, with the help of the police, had only days before recovered 30 of his animals that were stolen. But he, along with 2 other people, were eventually shot and injured. On Monday, 2 goat farmers from Grange Hill, Westmoreland, were found dead. It appears the farmers were murdered after taking their animals out to graze. The animals are still missing. And on November 27, 2 men reportedly engaged the police in a car chase and a shootout in which they were both killed. 2 goats were reportedly found in the trunk of the car in which the men were traveling. The JCS liaison to the predatory larceny unit of the Agriculture Ministry, Superintendent Oral Pasco, says incidents of animal theft could rise even further in the coming weeks.
Based on the Yuletide season and a lot of festivities and parties that will be held over the period, there's a restriction on the amount of animals you can bring into the country. So the demand is so high, and the demand for local goat meat is even higher. As October, November, closer to December, they ramp up their activities.
The authorities believe the predatory larceny industry in Jamaica is valued at $6 billion. The animals or the proceeds from the theft are reportedly used to purchase weapons, often from Haiti. But Superintendent Pasco says that figure could be significantly higher due to underreporting by farmers.
And I'm saying $6 billion, that's a lot of money. I believe on my estimation it's a lot larger. Because there's one farmer that I met. He farms coconuts. He's losing $100,000 per week. That's one farmer in a valley that's have hundreds of farmers. And that's coconut. Not to mention farm animals and cows and fresh produce. And the volumes, and these are not a random theft of a goat for consumption. These are theft on a large scale. Persons come 1 week, they take some, they come the next week, they take the balance.
Meanwhile, Superintendent Pasco says the police are making strides to limit the impact of these crimes.
Preliminary reports indicate 700 people have received COVID-19 booster shots, stated Ennis. 700 Jamaicans have so far turned out to receive vaccine booster shots since the Health Ministry began offering the additional dose on Monday. That's the word from the country's Director of Family Health Services, Dr. Melody Ennis. The ministry opened up vaccine boosters to people 6 years and older, healthcare workers, and all Jamaican adults who received the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Dr. Ennis is urging all those who are eligible for the booster to turn up for the additional jab.
Dr. Ennis says the booster numbers have so far come in from 2 health regions across the island.
On Monday, we did just over 500 persons, and that's from 2 regions. I haven't received the count from all the regions as yet. And for yesterday, I think we're over 200, and that's just from 2 areas. So I believe persons are showing up.
The director says healthcare workers and citizens 60 years and older who received the AstraZeneca vaccine 6 months ago should visit a vaccination site to receive their booster. Dr. Ennis noted that Pfizer booster shots are not yet available due to the time stipulation set out between the second dose and the booster shot.
Persons for Pfizer don't qualify yet because we only started giving Pfizer when in August, so persons would get their second dose in September. So there's not supposed to be anybody at this point for booster who receive Pfizer.
Dr. Ennis says in the case of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, The time stipulation has been met for all persons 18 years and older to receive the additional dose.
Now, for Johnson & Johnson, boosters are being offered to everyone over the age of 18, and that is 2 months now after your first shot with J&J. So we started in September with J&J. So persons are eligible. Everybody now over the age of 18 can come in to get their Johnson & Johnson booster.
Jamaica's booster program is being rolled out at a time when several countries across the world are calling for booster shots amid a sharp increase in cases caused by the new Omicron variant of COVID-19.
EPOC anticipates imminent rebound in tax revenues. Chairman of the Economic Programs Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, says he anticipates the tax revenue getting back on track over the coming weeks. On Tuesday, EPOC revealed that COVID-19 and inflation loom large as the country's fiscal indicators marginally underperformed for the April to October period. Mr. Duncan says with an easing of the anti-COVID-19 restrictions, there will be more economic activities. And with the increased movement, he says there could also be faster spread of the virus. He is, however, urging people to be responsible and guard against this spread.
I don't believe that the Prime Minister had much choice. I think Jamaican people needed some room, they needed a mental break, they needed some flexibility. And I believe at 10 p.m. was appropriate. What we need to do is ensure that we can enforce and ensure that we don't have to wait on the police to enforce, that we can take responsibility and behave in a responsible way, observing the protocols, etc., so as to minimize what may come in a fourth wave. With the easing, I think November and December, and the Ministry of Finance indicated in our EPOC meeting that they had seen good positive signs around economic activity in November and good flows on the tax revenue side. So they had intimated that things started to return to some level of normalcy. Now, in terms of going forward, we'd expect increased economic activity, especially during the Christmas period, and especially as you have no extended or reduced curfew hours. So therefore, we should see increased economic activity, which should see, hopefully, tax revenues getting back on track. We're only marginally behind, only $2.8 billion behind. So we're not significantly behind. I think it could be made up over the next couple of months in terms of getting back on track. So I don't think that is the greatest threat. The greatest threat we have is the inflation, and the Bank of Jamaica, who says that they will continue to consider rate increases if they cannot break the back of inflation. And it's going to be a challenge because globally inflation is going up. And that is the big challenge that Jamaica faces.
Jamaica reports 25 new COVID-19 cases, 3 deaths. Jamaica on Wednesday reported 25 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 virus-related deaths. This brings the total number of confirmed cases recorded on the island since the start of the pandemic to 91,868 and the death toll to 2,432. Of the newly reported cases, there were 16 females and 9 males, with ages ranging from 11 months to 77 years. The cases were recorded in St. James 12, Kingston and St. Andrew 6, St. Catherine 4, Manchester 2, and Hanover 1. Meanwhile, the latest victims are a 76-year-old male from St. James, a 71-year-old male from Hanover, and an 87-year-old female from St. Anne. The deaths occurred between September 18 and December 13. 4 more deaths were reported under investigation. The country also recorded 28 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 63,595. Government of Japan, UNICEF, hand over cold chain equipment to Health Ministry. The Government of Japan and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, last Tuesday handed over an initial donation of cold chain equipment being provided to the Ministry of Health and Wellness to support the drive for effective and inclusive COVID-19 vaccination in Jamaica. Cold chain equipment is essential to ensure that some COVID-19 vaccines are transported to vaccination sites across the island and store at the right temperature to maintain vaccine quality. The initial donation of 85 cold boxes, valued at approximately $20,000, will help ensure adequate storage and transportation of vaccines in line with international standards. The full donation of equipment includes 80 deep freezers to be installed at high-volume vaccination sites, 300 vaccine carriers, 370 cold boxes, 2,000 ice packs, 281 temperature monitoring devices, and 2 large vehicles with refrigeration capacity. The government of Japan's donation covered the total cost of all supplies, while UNICEF managed the procurement through its supply division, which has been supporting the global effort to respond to the pandemic. The collaborative effort by the government of Japan and UNICEF will also cover an assessment of Jamaica's cold chain and vaccine supply management system and training of technicians and relevant health facility staff members in the operation and maintenance of the cold chain equipment. Additionally, the contribution covers the implementation of a digital platform to support real-time monitoring of vaccine rates and communication with members of the public. Japan is investing a total of US $11.1 million to support vaccine delivery in 6 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. Today, I am pleased to be able to build further on our JJ partnership, currently ensuring equitable access globally, including developing countries, and accelerating vaccination is the common challenge for the international community towards the goal of containing COVID-19. The government of Japan hopes that today's assistance will further support the ongoing effective implementation of the Jamaican government's COVID-19 measures, building upon the donation of medical equipment valued at around US $2 million donated earlier this year, said the ambassador of Japan to Jamaica. He continued, "Based on our experiences, it is my hope that today's support from Japan will lead to quick and safe delivery of vaccines throughout Jamaica. We know no one is safe until everyone is safe. Japan remains fully committed to tackling and overcoming this crisis, hand in hand with the partners including Jamaica and UNICEF." Meanwhile, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said, "This afternoon is another tangible demonstration of partnership in the public health and a prime example of international cooperation in health between countries that have enjoyed diplomatic relations since the 1960s. These supplies will support the government's National Vaccination Implementation Program, as they will be distributed and utilized in health centers and health departments across the island. In thanking the government and people of Japan, we hail them as a global health leader that have made significant strides in health, particularly in universal health coverage and infectious disease control." This latest offer from the government and people of Japan marks another significant chapter in the very vibrant and dynamic relations that we have enjoyed since the establishment of the diplomatic relations over the past 57 years, State Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Leslie Campbell, added. In recalling the many critical areas of assistance provided by Japan, he also expressed appreciation for the support extended to the country by the United Nations and its specialized agencies like UNICEF. The Japanese donation is in response to UNICEF's Global 2021 Humanitarian Action for Children appeal for access to COVID-19 tools accelerator, which requires US $659 million to enable UNICEF and partners to support global efforts to accelerate the development, production, and equitable access to COVID-19 tests, treatments, and vaccines. UNICEF Jamaica is deeply grateful to the government of Japan for working closely with us on this critical effort to safely deliver and store vaccines across Jamaica, said UNICEF Jamaica country representative. We are also proud to contribute to the nation drive for vaccination being led by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, which we strongly believe is vital to protect the health of Jamaicans and to bring this pandemic under control so that we can regain some normalcy for children and their families. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.